Good morning, students. Welcome to history class. We are reading Growth of Towns. This is chapter 9 of your history book. Our lesson for today is section 9.2, Guilds in Town and Their Activities. This word guild is derived from the Anglo-Saxon word gulden, which means to pay. This refers to the membership fee paid to the guilds by their members. This concept of guild is somewhat similar to modern concept of labor unions. The guilds set standard for their professions and protected the interest of their members. During Middle Ages, the members of guild achieved a higher social status. Now let us know what were guilds. Medieval guilds were an association of craftsmen or merchants. They were formed for mutual aid and protection and also to further their own professional interests. Guilds flourished in Europe between the 11th and 16th centuries and formed an important part of the economic and social fabric in that era. The medieval guilds were generally one of the two types, merchant guilds or craft guilds. Now, what are merchant guilds and craft guilds? Merchant guilds included most or all of the merchants in a town or city and were involved in regional and long distance trade. Merchant guilds were also influential in local governments, and many leaders of merchant guilds were wealthy and influential citizens. So mainly merchant guilds dealt with long distance trading, whereas craft guilds were made up of craftsmen and artisans in the same occupation such as hatters, carpenters, bakers, blacksmiths, weavers, masons. So the people who are engaged in that particular profession, say for example weavers, they made a guild for themselves to monitor their activities, to regulate their trading system. So these were merchant guilds and crafts guild. Now while they seems like somewhat similar, there is difference between merchant guilds and craft guilds. Let us look into it. Merchant guilds sell what they have or buy and resell items, unlike craft guilds, who make their own products and sell them once. So, you see, merchant guilds, what they used to do, they bought some things from others and then sold it. But craft guilds, they used to make or produce things of their own and then sell them in the market. So this is the difference. These two guilds have very different styles of how they sell their items. Both are different, yet both are successful. Now, guild position or guild system. The internal structures of medieval craft guilds are well known from documents and were generally alike throughout Europe. Assemblies of the guild's members enjoyed some legislative powers, but the control of the guild policy lay in the hands of a few officials and a council of advisors and assistants. The guild tended to be an extremely hierarchical body structured on the basis of the apprenticeship system. In this structure, the members of a guild were divided into hierarchy of master, journeyman, and apprentice. Apprentices are boys in late childhood or adolescence who boarded with the master's family and were trained by him in the elements of his trades. The apprentices were provided with food, clothing, shelter, and an education by the master, and in return they worked for him without payment. After completing a fixed term of service of from 5 to 9 years, an apprentice became a journeyman. That is, a craftsman who could work for one or another master and was paid with wages for his labor. A journeyman who could provide proof of his technical competence might rise in the guild to status of a master, whereupon he could set up his own workshop and hire or train apprentices. So here you can see that these are the three stages through which a member of crafts guild is formed. First, he need to be an apprentice, then a journeyman, and then if he can prove his competence and ability, then he would become a master. Now let us look into the roles of these guilds. So guilds performed a variety of important functions in the local economy. They established a monopoly of trade in their locality or within a particular branch of industry or commerce. They set and maintain standards for the quality of goods and the integrity of trading practices in that industry. They work to maintain stable prices for their goods and commodities. They sought to control town or city governments in order to further the interest of the guild members and achieve their economic objectives. So what are the things that we can see? They, first of all, they provided training to the workers. They provided employment. They established monopoly of trade. What is monopoly? If one particular guild is working at a particular area, then no one else cannot come and trade in that particular area. So that is monopoly. If I am trading here, then I am the only one who will be trading in this locality. Nobody else can come into that place and trade over there. They set standards for the quality of goods and they also regulated prices of the goods. That is, what would be the price of one particular good. It was them, these guilds, who decided that. Now, besides these economical services, they had other services to perform as well. These services were provided to the members of the guilds. They provided funeral expenses to poorer members. They provided dowries for poor girls. They covered members with a type of health insurance and provisions for care of the sick. They also built chapels and donated windows to local churches or cathedrals and frequently helped in the actual construction of the churches and watched over moral of members who indulged in gambling and usury. So that was all for today. In this you have seen what were the guilds, how many types of guilds were there, how a member of guild is formed, especially in this crafts guild, and what are the roles of this guilds. So it is now your work to read, open your book and read section 9.2, and if you have any query you can mail me in the given mail ID. Thank you.